Welcome back to this special program. My name is Vineet Malhotra. The long simmering tensions between Israel and Iran have erupted into open conflict, with both countries launching direct attack in a dramatic escalation that has drawn global concern and attention and halted nuclear negotiations. On the 13th of June, just a few days ago, Israel carried out a targeted strike on Iran's primary nuclear facility located in Natanz and other military installations under what's now called the Operation Rising Lion. Well, the precision strike eliminated several high-ranking commanders of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, including the Chief of Staff of Iran's Armed Forces, Major General Mohammad Bagheri, Major General Hossein Salami, the commander of the IRGC, the Deputy Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces General Gholam Ali Rashid, IRGC Commander Amir Ali Hajizadeh, and leading nuclear scientists. The Israeli Defense Forces have released footage showing these attacks on Iran, as well as Israel's interception of Iranian drones and missiles. Iran retaliated and launched airstrikes at Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, firing hundreds of ballistic missiles and drones in its most aggressive operation yet. While Israel's air defense system intercepted most, some missiles breached the Iron Dome and struck buildings in Tel Aviv. The cycle of strike and counter-strike between the two nations continues unabated since then, and according to reports, at least 8 people were killed in the latest Iranian strikes, raising Israel's death toll to 21, while at least 100 more were wounded in the overnight blitz. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had earlier visited some sites of Iranian missile strike in Israel. On the other hand, the Israeli military now claims to have achieved full aerial superiority over Tehran's skies. According to Chief Spokesman Brigadier General Efi Defrin, he said that Israel struck 20 Iranian targets overnight, including missile launchers, air defense systems, and the headquarters of the elite Quds force. Speaking on the Israel-Iran conflict, Prime Minister Modi, during his address in Cyprus, said that, and I quote, "This is not an era of war." Other international leaders are also calling for restraint, warning that the region teeters on the brink of a broader war. Well, we have a special guest with us today, Israel's ambassador to India, Mr. Reuven Azar, who will tell us more on the ongoing conflict. Ambassador Azar, a pleasure having you here. I always wanted to speak to you. So good to see you in person. The first question, pleasure, sir, of having you. We've seen days of counter strikes. What is the situation in Tel Aviv when it comes to civilian casualties, and more so, the feeling of most Israelis when it comes to this war?
Well, first of all, there is consensus in Israel regarding this war, because what we've done, basically, we foiled a plan of Iran to exterminate us. What the Iranians had planned is, first of all, to sneak out a nuclear weapon while stalling negotiations on the nuclear file. That kind of weapon would allow them to terminate the state of Israel, to annihilate us. This is what their leadership, by the way, has sworn to do. And the second part of the plan was to build a huge stockpile of ballistic missiles, up to 20,000 ballistic missiles in the next 6 years, in order to completely be able to destroy Israel, because we are a very tiny country. So there is, in Israel, although there are casualties, as you mentioned, 22 killed and hundreds wounded, there is consensus wall to wall in Israel that we had no choice and we had to stop the Iranians because their plan was to exterminate us. And we feel encouraged by the fact that our security forces, including the IDF, the Mossad, and other agencies, have been able to cause significant damage to the nuclear program and to the missile program. And that, as you quoted, we have reached a situation in which we have control of the skies and can continue defending ourselves by preventing bigger barrages of ballistic missiles on our country.
So, does Israel have credible intelligence of what Prime Minister Netanyahu has also called, which is an Iranian plot to assassinate US President Donald Trump?
Yes, well, we have seen the attempts to assassinate the president. Whatever intelligence we have shared with the Americans. It is actually not surprising, because the Iranians have been calling Israel the little Satan and the United States the big Satan. So this comes at no surprise for us, and because of the danger coming from Iran that has sworn to destroy us multiple times throughout the years, we have developed intelligence capabilities that no other country has regarding what is going inside the Iranian regime.
So what was the aim of these strikes? Have you been able to set back the Iranian nuclear program in your best estimate? You know, something like this, something similar happened in the early 80s, if I remember as well. Do you think, is this a repeat of what happened then? Or do you think the emphasis on annihilating Iran's capabilities of harming Israel are better understood and better pronounced this time, and hence the response?
Well, first of all, there is quite a difference, because unlike Iraq in 81 in Iraq and 2007 Syria, here we're talking about a nuclear program in Iran that is much more wide and vast. There are at least 70 locations in which you have Iranian parts of the Iranian nuclear program. You have a country that actually has mastered the knowledge that it needs in order to enrich uranium to a very high degree. And what we were concentrated in is in avoiding or foiling their capability to weaponize the enriched uranium. And this is what was happening clandestinely while these negotiations were going on. So what we've been able to do is to degrade the plan. You cannot take information out of the heads of people. Nuclear energy is, or nuclear military technology is not a modern technology. It's a technology that already exists since World War II. And therefore, what we are concentrating in is degrading capabilities, preventing weaponization, and taking out those who were involved in the weaponization. But when it comes to enriched uranium, I think that Iranians are going to continue to have the capability to enrich unless they agree to get rid of it.
Absolutely right, sir. So you've hit Hamas, you've hit Hezbollah. You know, both these organizations have been shown patronage by Iran. They've been funded by Iran, as the world is very much familiar with that. But do you think that you have done enough to safeguard your country and its civilians? I was reading an article the other day that 1/3 of the Jewish population was destroyed during World War II by the Nazis. And after the Nazis, if anybody comes closer in terms of their dictatorial intent to annihilate the Jews, it's Iran.
That's right, and that's why we had to act with resolve. Beyond the path to destroy us through nuclear weapon and destroy us through a vast ballistic missile program, what the Iranians have created around us is a ring of fire, a ring of proxies, and to each one of them, they have been supplying vast assistance, not just financial, also weapons and the means to produce weapons. They even, as the Prime Minister mentioned yesterday to the interview to Fox News, they were planning actually to transfer a nuclear bomb to the Houthis in Yemen. So this is really a dangerous regime. It's a regime that is endangering not only Israel, but the world. And the fact that we are defending ourselves and neutralizing these capabilities, we are doing not only ourselves a favor, but a favor to the region and a favor to the world. The region was completely helpless in face of this aggression by Iran. And the Iranians, until recently, have been controlling 4 Arab capitals. So now, following our action, they are not only controlling Beirut, they are not longer controlling Damascus, but still they have a huge presence in Iraq and in Yemen. So it's going to continue to be a challenge. And what we need is to have a much more efficient coalition, international coalition, to face this aggression and actually to not only support the efforts of Israel to defend itself, but also try to get into a diplomatic solution that will make the Iranians refrain from going back to these malign activities and to pose such threats on the world.
So basically, it's the snake's head that you're going for. But sir, there has also been a lot of preemptive conversation. The Americans have also been involved. The EU has also been involved. Iran has also sent envoys to, prominent cities throughout the world, trying to show some intent that they will perhaps put a curb on their nuclear ambitions. Do you think that was just a charade?
Absolutely. We have intelligence to substantiate that. We have transferred that intelligence to our American friends and to others. And now it's exposed because we have been able to hit those targets. We have exposed what Iran has been doing, and hopefully we'll be able to neutralize it for the future to come.
Do you feel that you should be concerned now from countries like Jordan and Egypt as well, in terms of the collaborative stance that they can take in attacking you while they're supporting Iran? Is that something that crosses your mind?
No, I don't think that Jordan nor Egypt are supporting Iran. To the contrary, we have achieved peace agreements with Jordan, with Egypt, with the Abraham Accord countries, and there is a wider move under American umbrella to try to create more stability in our region, to create prosperity in our region. We are looking at projects with India, like the IMEC project, to actually bring more trade and move more goods and create projects of energy and of communications. And Iran has been trying to foil that. What they are trying to do basically is there's a much bigger conflict in the Middle East that not many people talk about. That's the conflict between Sunni and Shia. And the fact that Iran was attacking us, it was a way for them, a means to achieve a larger goal, which is to take over Mecca and Medina, to take over Saudi Arabia. So the countries of the Gulf, Egypt and Jordan, understand that very well. And therefore, although we saw some condemnations following our attack, I think that most of these countries are pretty satisfied that Iran is being degraded in the way it is, because they are going to feel much safer when this is over.
So you said something just a while back which caught my attention, the fact that Israel is doing a favor to a lot of other countries by attacking Iran. India also did something very, very analogous and similar during Operation Sindoor. We also in fact destroyed a number of terrorist camps in Pakistan, in Muridke and other areas. We also did perhaps the world a big favor, especially the Americans. We killed the people who killed Daniel Pearl. Israel supported us during that fight. Are you getting a sense that India is also doing the same in supporting you in combating terror?
Yes, we had very good conversations between our Prime Minister Netanyahu and Prime Minister Modi, between our Foreign Minister Gideon Sa'ar and your Foreign Minister Jai Shankar, and also between our national security advisors. I think that there is understanding. I think that there is much wider cooperation expected. We've been deepening and widening the cooperation on defense issues because we have common challenges and we have opportunities to solve these challenges together.
So Iranians are also suggesting that there is something known as the Islamic bomb, which Pakistan possesses. Some people in Iran have also gone on to say that if this continues, there is a threat that Pakistan is going to help Iran and use its nuclear capabilities. Do you think that's a credible threat?
Well, look, everybody is alert and is concerned from different threats around the world, but the Iranian case is absolutely different, because in the case of the Ayatollah's regime in Iran, this is a regime that has sworn to destroy us time and again. They had actually a watch in one of the
like a doomsday watch,
the buildings in Tehran. Actually, they were counting down the time to destroy us, and they were developing. They were investing billions and billions of dollars in creating the capabilities to eliminate us with different means. So I don't think there is any country in the world that behaves like that. It's completely unacceptable that a member in the UN will threaten another state, another member, with annihilation. That's completely unacceptable. So it cannot be compared to anything else, and therefore Iran has to be stopped. Iran cannot be treated as a normal country, a country that cheats time and again towards their commitment to the NPT, as was stated in the NPT, in the IAEA report. They breached the safeguards agreement, the basic agreement that doesn't allow them to conduct clandestine nuclear activities outside the scope of the NPT. So they cheated. They were given many, many opportunities, and here basically we didn't have any choice but to target them, because if we wouldn't have targeted them, they would have achieved the bomb in a course of months.
Ambassador Azar, in fact, Donald Trump made a statement just a few weeks ago that any regime that is bent on annihilating another people should not exist, should not have the nuclear technology. But we all know where Iran got its nuclear support and help from. It's of course Pakistan. And Pakistan already has a bomb. It has nuclear warheads. In fact, it uses it for threats against India as well. How important is it to look at that aspect when you're talking about Iran's nuclear capabilities as well?
It is absolutely essential to continue to invest in efforts to avoid proliferation of technologies to produce nuclear weapons and to produce weapons of mass destruction in general. And that's the responsibility of the entire international community. You asked me about the existence of the Iranian regime. Look, we are defending ourselves. We think that it's the role of the Iranian people to decide what will be the future of their country. We know that they are oppressed. We know that they are at gunpoint of these thugs that are oppressing them. And we wish them luck. We think that this regime has done them a very bad service. Just before I arrived, I retweeted an economic figure that in 1992, the GDP of Iran was $10,000 per capita. Today is less than 3,500. Israel's GDP was almost similar to Iran. Now it's $57,000 per capita.
Wow.
So you see what happens when a government invests in its people, when a country is free, when a country concentrates in free markets instead of trying to annihilate other countries. So what Iran has been doing is investing in this war machine that is intended to have hegemony in the region through military means. It's oppressing its people, it's trying to oppress the region, and this is not getting good results for the Iranian people.
So one last question before we let you go. President Trump had talked about this conflict ending soon. Do you think this is going to be a short-term engagement, or do you think, considering the fact that the adversarial feelings both the countries have had against each other have lasted decades, this conflict could prolong? And what does this mean for Israel?
First of all, we don't have any adversarial feelings regarding, vis-a-vis the Iranian people. It's just a problem with the regime. Now, look, this has potential to continue, but I think as Iran's arsenal of missiles start dwindling, I think that they will have no choice but to try to bring this to a stop. I hope that this is taken as an opportunity to get the Iranians to commit to stop aggression in general, but more specifically to avoid developing nuclear weapons in a verifiable way.
Absolutely. Well, Ambassador Azar, I pulled no punches and you didn't have to maneuver any of them. Thank you so much for answering my questions and speaking to us on NewsX. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure. All right, well, that's all we have on this special program. We'll take a short break. Be right back.